And we're bringing at you Unit 6, Lesson 5, so Lesson 6.5, talking about point-slope form of a line. And your objective is to use point-slope form to write an equation of a line. Okay, so other forms that we've learned is we've learned standard form, okay, which is ax plus by equals c. So something like 3x plus 2y equals 7. Okay, we've also learned slope-intercept, which again is y equals mx plus b. So that would look like y equals 2x plus 7. Now we're learning a new form called point-slope. So each of these forms will have its benefits from time to time on when you want to use them. Okay, and we've learned that slope-intercept is really nice for graphing. Now we're going to talk a little bit about point-slope form and when you would want to use that. Okay, so let's go on and talk about it. Well, up at the top here, we've got what point-slope form is in between the asterisks. Point-slope form is read as y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Okay, an example of what this would look like is the variable y and the variable x always stay as y and x, just like they did in slope-intercept form. Okay, so we're going to have y minus, and y sub 1 is going to be some number, like 2, equals m will be a number, x will be the variable x, and x sub 1 will be a number. Okay, so this right here is an example of what point-slope form looks like. Y minus 2 equals 3 times x minus 4. Okay, well, let's think about this. What does m tell you about the line? Well, we know that variable from before, so my m always tells me the slope. Okay, and x1 and y1 tell you something about the line too. x1 and y1 give you an ordered pair, okay, or a coordinate for the line. So they tell you an ordered pair that is on the line. Okay, so in this example up here, my m is 3, and my ordered pair that I would have, well, again, this is x minus x1, so my x1 is the x value in my ordered pair. Okay, so x1 matches up with y1 for my coordinate. So in this case, my x1, the number I'm taking away from the x variable, is 4. And the y1, what I'm taking away from y, is 2 in this case. Okay, so point-slope form is just like it sounds. What it tells you really easily is the slope of the line and a point on the line. So you should very easily be able to graph from point-slope form as well. Okay, and there are advantages of it compared to slope-intercept form that we'll talk about later. But this is what point-slope form looks like right here. And you want to memorize this formula. Again, it's y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Alright, let's go on to more examples. Okay, this example says write the equation of the line in point-slope form. The first thing we're going to do is rewrite down the formula. Again, I want you to keep rewriting it down so we get used to it and memorize it. It's y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Okay, so things we need to know. Again, we never want to know our x and our y. Those are always going to stay. So we need to know the other things. So we need to know the y1, the m, and the x1 to plug in. Well, our m is always our slope. In this case, our slope is up 2 and over 3, so our m is 2/3. And then we need to know an ordered pair for our x1 and y1. Okay, our x1 and y1 ordered pair is the point that they give us. Okay, so my x is 2 and my y is 5. Now I'm just going to plug these numbers into the formula. Again, I never plug in for y. So I have y minus my y1 is my y value of the point, 5, equals my m, which is my slope, 2/3, times again, we never put x in because x can always change, minus my x1 value, which in this case is 2. So here's the equation of my line in point-slope form. Okay? So we've done equations before where we have the slope and a point, and we write it in slope-intercept form. Okay? Well, the good thing about point-slope form is we don't need to do any converting there. Remember when we wanted to write in slope-intercept form, we had to plug this in and solve for b and do all that kind of stuff. We don't have to do any of that for point-slope form. All we need for this is the slope and a point, and we can just plug it in and make an equation out of it. Alright? Let's go on to another example. Alright, so this example says we're going to write an equation in point-slope form when we're given these 2 points. Well, point-slope form implies that to write that form we need at least a point and the slope. Okay? Our problem here is we have 2 points and no slope. So our first step is going to be to find the slope. So that's where we have to use that wonderful formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And usually it's better to have our y2, x2 be our bigger numbers, so we're going to put those over here, y2 and x2. So, sorry, that should be the other way around, shouldn't it? Whoops. Let's go with x2 and y2. And then this is x1 and y1. Okay, now plug into the formula. y2 is 2, minus y1 is 1, over x2 is 3, and x1 is 0. So 2 minus 1 is 1. 3 minus 0 is 3, so we get m equals 1/3. Okay? So I've got m equals 1/3, so I know the slope, and I know 2 points. So I only have to pick one of the 2 points for my y sub 1 and my x sub 1 from the formula. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and just pick the first point I was given, 3, 2. And I'm going to rewrite the formula. Again, we want to write in point-slope. So point-slope formula is y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. So here, I'm going to have my x sub 1 and my y sub 1 that I plug into the equations. So I'm going to do y minus my y sub 1 is 2 equals m, which is 1/3, times x minus my x sub 1, which is 3. Okay? So this is one possibility right here. Or I could also pick the other point. So I still have m equals 1/3, and then I could use the other point, 0, 1. It does not matter. Okay? And again, I would rewrite the formula, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, and plug in what I know. Well, y minus my y1 is 1 equals m, which is 1/3, times x minus x1, which is 0. Okay, so either one of these two would be point-slope forms of the line with the given information. Okay, so that's the other nice thing about point-slope form is you can have multiple answers here. Okay, whatever is easiest for you. Okay, so you wouldn't have to write both of these answers, but either one works. You need one or the other. All right, let's go on to another example. Okay, so in this one, I want to see if we can just use some reasoning here and figure out what we know about the line with this equation. Again, this whole lesson's about point-slope form, so really what you should be able to tell me from this equation is the slope and a point. Okay? Well, let's think about this. Here's point-slope form. And things to notice here are I've got a y, but I'm adding it. Point-slope form says I have to subtract it. Okay? So, I've got y minus, and what's the same thing as adding a number? The same thing as adding, whoops, sorry, we'll erase that, is taking away a negative. So really I can put y minus negative 3. Because that's the same as y plus 3. So really this line is in point-slope form. It just looks a little differently because it's really minus a negative, which we can change to a positive. So y plus 3 is the same as y minus negative 3. Okay? And likewise here, I can change the x parts to x Instead of plus 7, I can put minus negative 7. Okay? So x plus 7 is the same as x minus negative 7. So I know an ordered pair here. I know that my x1, y1, well, my x1 is negative 7 because x minus negative 7 is the same as adding 7. So my x1 is negative 7, and my y1 is negative 3. And one thing I don't know is my slope here. Well, let's stop and think about this. Okay? If I don't have a number outside the parentheses, what could I actually put there? Well, I can always put a 1 out there. So 1 times x minus negative 7 is the same as taking just x plus 7. Okay, because x minus negative 7 is x plus 7, and times 1 we don't really need to write there. So my slope is 1, or 1 over 1. Okay, so right here, this is what we know about this line. We know the slope and we know a point based on just this information here. And then we could pretty easily graph the line. Alright, let's go on to another example.